everyone. This is a very quick overview of the module on effective negotiation. We hope you enjoy, and we look forward to you downloading the detailed videos, all available to you on YouTube. The components of the effective negotiations, they follow like logical steps. So we've created what is called a smart agent. We'll talk you through the call flow, how a campaign will impact negotiation, a concept called the treatment plan that will help you devise a game plan to convince debtors to pay yourselves. Then we have modules that deal with the top 10 objections in South Africa, and then we'll also introduce you to what is called the MAD method. We believe that collections agents have evolved over the years, and we're moving away from people who are reading scripts, not listening necessarily to debtors, to thinking about what they're doing, observing what information is available on your monitors or screens, and then listening actively. So these are the key attributes that we like using. Start with collection agent needs very specific skills, and this is what this course is about, to teach you some new techniques and new methods. Then M stands for methodical. There must be a process, so you cannot just go through one call to the next call. There has to be a method of how you're going to analyze the information that's available to you, what kind of questions you'll be asking. Being assertive is very, very important in this space. And then resourceful, you're coming up with ideas and asking questions, and we always believe that never ask a question if you don't have the answer. And the scary part about this all has to happen within 2 to 3 minutes in a call. Then being tenacious, not giving up. Debtors are not always going to agree with us, so that is something just to bear in mind. So becoming a smart agent is what the whole objective of this module entails. The application of smart agents, you can see we go into much more detail. So this time we say SMART stands for strategy, money, active listening, referring, and timing, and we will cover quite a bit of information on this, and this is the new techniques and the new skills that we will be imparting. The call flow. As you can see, the call flow is quite comprehensive. We'll start with campaigns, we'll talk you through treatment campaign, but this is basically what happens in minutes. And we need you as an agent and supervisor to think about the structure of the call, because these are the activities we believe if you follow them and when it takes place in your call, your chances of success will increase significantly. It always starts with campaigns. These are just typical examples of campaigns. For example, new handovers or promises that are already been made and you're following up on it. And as you can work through these various campaigns, often they'll be coupled with emails, SMSs, and as a contact center agent, you'll be calling debtors. And I think why this is important is to always be mindful of what the campaigns are that's running during your shift, so that you can make sure that you are collaborating with that. So in other words, if it's a new handover, there's a chance that your company may have sent a notification via email or SMS to the debtor to say the account has been handed over to an external debt collector, and there would be some consequences linked to that. So just make sure you align with that. Introduction. We don't particularly love scripts, but we do provide you with guidelines. We don't necessarily need to memorize this, and we'll provide a script for each one of the campaigns, so to speak. But we use it as a guideline just to make sure that you can get a little bit more skilled and comfortable, but also essential to remember. It is important that you are compliant, that you make sure you identify the debtor, and you make sure that you identify yourself and express the main reason for your call, which is what this section is about, is why are you calling? What is the purpose? And that's why that campaign is critical. I'm calling because your account's been handed over, as an example, or you've promised to pay on this and that day and you're going to pay so much money, and this is merely a courtesy call. And then we move to what is called first response. As you dial and you get hold of someone answering, hopefully it is the right party. But there are instances when you're speaking to a relative or friend or colleague, you answer the debtor's phone, and there's some technique that we needed to follow to either get new information so that you can contact them, or to leave a message for them to return your call. And then very popular, specifically in South Africa, debtors, when they discover that you're calling regarding their debt, suddenly they ask you to recall, and we do not like that. We try to speed up the process and get an arrangement, as it costs quite a significant amount of money to get hold of debtors. And then another popular one is people dropping calls. This will be covered in the episode. A treatment plan is something I developed a few years ago, often when I worked on complex systems or systems that are not user friendly. And it's basically a few notes that I take just before I make a call, for example. So you can see with my handwriting, what campaign is it, what amount is what I'm chasing for, what is the minimum amount I'll accept, what was any last engagement with the debtor, in other words, were emails sent, or did they make any promise to pay, is the name of the agent that the person spoke with available, what was the last payment date and amount, what last excuse did the debtor use, and what was their status. Very basic things, guys, but I promise you it will just give you a greater sense of confidence. So that's how simple the treatment plan is. You're walking in with a game plan. And there's some obvious benefits for the treatment plan. You're able to assess and diagnose the account to see what trends there are, what kind of payment behaviors there are, what kind of messaging they've received. And have a clear objective. Your objective is, I want settlement, or I'm not going to negotiate less than the amount that my client requires or the business requires. It's also a way to guide you through your call, so it doesn't sound like you're a robot. And then the experience of the debtor is that it's customized. It helps you with empowerment, because you again have a clear plan. You clearly know what you want. Your objectives are clearly stipulated, and again, this happens in a few minutes. The experience the debtor will have is no longer speaking to an agent that sounds like the next person, but it's customized. So we will train you not to necessarily read down all the consequences. Check what consequence was used in the past for not paying and try to use a different one, or check whether they understand what it means. Right, and as I said, you'll know the communication is one thing. In other words, what SMS and emails were sent is your kind of strategy similar to that, so it's alignment, so there's no confusion. And also, if your system allows, especially for companies that have already adopted this model, is to then leave very detailed notes for your colleagues, so that they can just so there's an element of coordination, so they could see that you've worked the account, the data has used a certain excuse before, and so forth and so on. So we try to make it as convenient for you as the agent. And there we go. You can see as an example of one that was already digitized, and this is what you can. There's no reason to have an excuse. You can have paper and digital. We have also got episodes dealing with top 10 debt excuses. Often they start popping up when you ask for payment, and we have covered these extensively. The MAD method has been developed as a way to overcome when debtors just want to get rid of you and pretend to agree. Once you've agreed on how they're going to pay, so either via EFT or debit order, whichever your preference is, the amount that they're going to pay and the date of payment, you wrap up your call by asking the debtor, can you please repeat the method of payment, the amount, and the date? And if the debtor gets any one of the three wrong, you'll treat that debtor as a defaulter. So that's the method behind it. So we're excited to work with you on this program. We will make the videos available and encourage you to really work through them, rewind if you have to, because we will in the episodes cover a lot of the details around the techniques. Feel free to engage with us. My name is CraigANel, and this is ICAN.